Welcome into episode 6 of Coffee and Chel. Welcome in all of the standard edition players, as yesterday was worldwide launch. And on today's episode, in the intro, we are going to yap about a number of things. We're going to talk about launch day content, the best ever, potentially. We'll talk about the Captain's Choice Pack. I know you guys have a lot of questions about that. The XP Path player. I think I might have messed up on that in the big video I did yesterday. Cupchase changes. Maybe absolutely insanely good. Ranked changes, and then just what I'm seeing in the market and whatnot. So let's start with the good, all right? Content over the last year and a half or so has been very criticized, and fairly so, I think. You know, it was a big change from the prior dev team that was doing content, and we had come to expect how Hockey Ultimate Team essentially worked, and it was such a drastic change. And it was a lot of rug pulling. And what I mean by that is like, okay, here is how it works. Content was released like normal, like power-up icons. And then it's like, oh, we're not going to upgrade those ever. Whereas in prior years, there'd be regular upgrades, right? So yesterday's content was, I don't want to say overwhelming, but as someone who has been reviewing and doing content about what's released and like info on it, I did the video on stream. My subathon is still going. So if you want to come watch me play live, I'm live for another at least 2 days. And it took me like 4 hours to get through that video. That was the most content we've ever gotten. They went all out. And was it all great? There's some nitpicky things. But even if you're just like a casual fan, there's so much to chase after now that I don't know how you could complain. Like the only complaint would be there's too much and it's overwhelming. So you got to give props when props is deserved. And the content team clearly looked at like a lot of the complaints from prior years about the content, not the rewards, content. And they kind of went all out. So they took away chase cards, it looks like, year-long chase cards. And I still think that's going to end up being a mistake, at least in the, in the long run. But if they're going to do these like content, I'm calling them content nukes because it's just like they're just nuking, the player base. And it's a lot like MLB. So if there's just an excessive amount of content to chase after, we won't really need as much year-long chase cards. However, that could lead to player base exhaustion because you're just constantly chasing stuff. So more on that in a little bit. The other thing I want to talk about is the XP Path. So the XP Path came out. I was expecting 40 days max. It's 70. And we know that they can't make adjustments to the XP Path once it's out, because that's what happened last year. 70 days is a lot. It looks like they're playing it safe in terms of they don't want to make it too low. So they made it 70 days. Now, I'm curious to see how long it will take to get through for a hardcore player. Casual player, it's going to take you quite some time because there's 700,000 XP basically, which is a ton. In retrospect, I think like Subban was like 140,000 at the end of the NHL 25. So that's insane. I do want to. The thing that has me wondering is that is essentially into November. That is a long time. That's almost 3 months. And if they are keeping overalls very like low, like I'm wondering if during the season, I don't think we'll see an 88. I think we'll only see 87s. And the reason why that's interesting to me is that means that with the chemistry system and how we're playing the game now, building our teams, I think we'll see the most amount of different teams than we've ever had because there's just so many options because everyone is very close in overall. That's if everything goes well, Very interesting. They are definitely going to need a couple things with the year-long or the 70-day-long XP Path chase. Number one, line combos won't reset for 70 days. So it looks like they're going to add to them, right? They're going to add to the XP Path. The line combination chart. So there's going to be more combos. But that means that 3 Ducks or 2 Blackhawks and a Finn is just going to be the focus. They need to release a lot more of those if it's 70 days. But that also means that those cards are going to hold their value for way longer than I thought. I assumed if it was 40 days, everyone would chase after Burakovsky and Teravainen, and those cards would have crazy value. They're going to be, and then they would crash because once they're not used in a +2 overall set, no one's going to use them, right? Like they're just not going to be made. So they're going to crash in price. So that being said, 70 days is a long time. Those cards are going to hold their value for a long time. So that's something to keep in mind. The Captain's Choice Pack I want to touch on. Everyone's asking me who would you choose from the Captain's Choice Pack, and I might make a separate video just going over it. Here is what I would say about the Captain's Choice Pack. You can always make them if you decide you want someone different, and it isn't extremely cheap to make the 82s. It's not extremely expensive to make the 82s, so if you really wanted to. Early on, if you had Uyghur, right? If you had Mackenzie Uyghur, you obviously had enough Pacific Division players in your lineup to get the +5 AP boost. It is very important to get the AP boost now because every card has an X factor, and those are what is going to give you an advantage, more than attributes, I think. So I would go with Leo Carlson, for example. I don't know if he's the best. I think they're all very similar. But I would go with Leo Carlson because you obviously have enough Pacific Division players, right? If you didn't play during early access, I think I do need to make a video going over like the best one, but there's so much content that you can... I would look at the high-end cards. So like Solani, Pacific Division. I think one of the interesting things is the 85 overall captains that came out. You can't combine those. So I really don't know if it matters because I might go Central. I might say I think going Central might be the play with Bedard. Number one, you could get that Blackhawk, Finn, and Blackhawk line with Bedard. Miro's captain card is the top captain card of the whole bunch, in my opinion. So loading up on Central players while you're building up to go and get Miro Heiskanen might be the play because you're going to end up with a lot of Central players. So that might be somebody to consider as well. If you've already got Uyghur, honestly, Uyghur is low-key better than a lot of the 82s already. So don't think that just because Uyghur was from the initial release that he's not viable still. He's still one of the best ones. So you've got a lot of decisions to make. I would just go with, if you're looking for the min-max, you want to be told what to do because you want to have the best team. I would recommend probably Bedard, because if you're just starting out, because you're going to work towards Heiskanen, I think. I just think that he's very good. The other thing is when you're building your team, guys, like everyone's team is going to be different because I can't say go out and get X card because the cost of them is very expensive and we don't have a lot of coins. But just judging by the top end cards right now, like if I was doing a hierarchy of cards, you need to go get in order. This would be the order of cards I would go out and get. Paul Coffey's number one up there. Solani might be number one, just because he is. If you can get that 3 Duck boost or the Finn and 2 Blackhawk boost, he's unbelievable. He just is. Like he's a difference maker. There's a few of those cards as well. I'm not saying that Solani's the best card, but he is in the S tier firmly. So I would be working towards Solani. I'd also be working towards Coffee, which is another reason why you might want to go Pacific Division for a captain boost. Doughty isn't bad. I can't have Doughty on my team. I mean, it sucks, like, you know, because I need to have a competitive team simply because I'm trying to go up and get to Ultimate and grind out Ranked, and it's going to be very difficult for me without, like, a very good squad. How I enjoy the game is playing 1v1 and beating other people, and I don't do that very often. So having the best team is kind of the style I play. So I know I always preach take your favorite players. I hate Drew Doughty. I hated that he was the captain. But, you know, that's an option. I will be going after Miro Heiskanen. I think he's one of the best. But Paul Coffey's up there. Solani's up there. That's 2 Pacific Division players. If you go with Doughty, that's 3 right there, right? You've got Sakic is another great one. His endurance is kind of ass cheeks, but the rest of it is really good. In terms of event items, just off the rip, Eichel is very good. I would play Wild Card because you're going to get to test that. This is, like, there's so much to talk about. This is what's crazy. I want to get to the XP Path, though. So the XP Path players, I need to bring this up. It is brought to my attention that there was an info blurb when you go through for the first time and look at the XP Path players. So I'm talking about the 5 choice pack. So we got the Beniers, Dunn, Will Smith, Ronick, and Demko. I was under the assumption that when you get the tokens throughout the XP path, that you can throw those in to upgrade those cards. That's what they're there for. But then you could refund them to get them all back so that you can change who you want to upgrade as the season goes along. It said that you only get half back. So I'm not really sure or someone in my chat said that, and I haven't upgraded my cards yet, so I can't give you 100% info on that. My recommendation is if you're grinding the XP path and you have tokens, don't upgrade those cards first. Let someone on Reddit, myself, Bert, who's still streaming and grinding the XP path, let someone else find out if you get all of the tokens back. If you get all the tokens back, then it doesn't matter. If you do get if you don't get the tokens back, then I would wait. I would really wait, because then 85 overall, those 85 overall cards are worth something. Like that, you want to choose the one that fits for your team, and everyone's team is going to be quite different. So I just want to keep that in mind. Also with the collectibles. So I tried the with the collectible sets on, because that's the next question. What do you use your collectibles on for the packs in the XP path? They really made it expensive. You're not getting nearly as much because you get 140 collectibles, which is a ton. But like an 81 plus player pack is like 30. So that means you could get 4 of those, right? Like throughout the entire path, not very much. So you want to be careful with them. I did the 12 collectible one where it was like 75 and above, because as long as you pull a 78, that's the bare minimum to get into the event. And I pulled a 78 in that for 12, so at least it was useful. But I don't know if I'd recommend that. The Elite Pack for 20, I thought, okay, maybe you're going to get enough stuff in there. It's a lot of 77s and below. So I think the best thing to do is to just... I think the best thing to do is to wait for... Yeah, someone in my chat just mentioned for fantasy, or just until someone on Reddit or in the community will literally spend all of their coin or their tokens on like or collectibles, sorry, on like the one base pack, and then it actually is juiced. And that's when you find that out, when you find out that pack, then you throw them all in. I would just wait, really, because they are expensive. So it does look like I'm getting confirmation while I'm reading this video that it does look like you are being able to refund the XP path players. So love that. Disregard what I'm saying. You can upgrade the those choice pack players up with the tokens and get them all back. So you're good, which is huge. I was actually getting concerned that you were gonna lose half of them. So you can mix and match and upgrade as you want. So if you want to try out Demko, upgrade them, and if you don't like them, you have more use for Vince Dunn. You can refund all those tokens, get the next pack, choose Vince Dunn, upgrade Vince Dunn. Love that. So next thing, Cupchase changes. They did an awesome thing to Cupchase. I did not expect this. They course corrected. I don't want to say almost too far, but it made Cupchase an awesome grind for players that just need something to get rewards consistently. So you used to have to go undefeated. People were getting disconnected, and it was a mess. It wasn't a mess. It was just not really worth it. Now you just need to make the playoffs. So you can play a bunch of games, look in the standings, and then you can quit out of games to speed through the season to make sure you just made the playoffs, okay? Once you're in the playoffs, you just got to make it to the finals and then win the finals. So that is what I would recommend you do. It shaves off almost half the time, more than half the time. Someone in my chat said that they could go through a Cupchase run on Superstar in like an hour and a half of gameplay. That's huge. So, and you can repeat it. So, for offline players, absolutely huge. Once you have completed all the other rewards and stuff, like that is massive. That is got to be one of the most lucrative grinds that we've had in Hut, and they might adjust it, but right now it's something to grind. Rank changes. There really wasn't any other than they added in specific exclusive ranked cards, which I love. The cards, even if you get ultimate, are not like these end game type things. They are very good, and I love that they're exclusive. The relegation is still there, though. So basically, they came out and said, they were transparent about it. They said, you will not relegate from silver to bronze. So once you hit silver, you're in silver. Once you get to diamond, you can't go back down. That is a really far grind. Like, the bottleneck is still gold 1. Gold 1 is like 2,000 skill rating. You high division 2. And everyone's battling out. It's going to be really hard until we get a lot further in, when all the best players kind of separate and get away. So that's tough. Once you get into Diamond, you can't relegate back. So that's a huge plateau to hit. And then once you get to Ultimate, you can't. So I wish... As it stands right now, Rank does not have a lot of rewards once you hit your plateau. And I think that's going to be an issue as it comes later on. But, kind of tough right now. But we'll see. It's early on, and we'll see if there's any adjustments made. But it looks like the rank season doesn't reset for 70 days, so you got a long time. But I think that once you hit gold, once you hit the new one, right? It looks like you should not be able to relegate from gold to silver. You should not be able to relegate from platinum to gold, and so on and so forth. That's in my opinion. If you were gold 3, you could go all the way back to gold 1. Like that's how I think it should work. But we'll wait and see if they make further adjustments. But I think they want to see with this first season how it plays out. So they're taking that as kind of a test, which is kind of unfortunate for the player base, but that's really what it looks like. I would expect relegation changes to come in season 2 because I think that we're going to get exhausted from it. This is a long yap session before I get into the comments, so I do apologize, but this will be a longer episode. The next thing I want to talk about, the salary cap. I said that I anticipated the salary cap to be very annoying for players come November, right? And I was wrong. I don't think it's annoying yet, but it is saving no money spent players, which I did not anticipate. So no money spent players, myself included, even if you hardcore grinded the game, there has not been this level of an advantage from teams in quite some time. I have never felt while playing no money spent that my team was not good enough to compete. And I'm not saying my team is not good enough. That's an excuse that a lot of people hinge on. But there are moments in game where I can tell that I'm using like a 78 overall defenseman, and I can tell that I can't intercept passes with him, and the skating is pretty tough. It's the abilities, because when you face someone that has all like 90 shooters with quick release, really tough. But that's fine. The thing is, the salary cap is saving people because I did not anticipate that we would have people hitting the salary cap with regularity. So many good cards came out that tons of people are over the cap, which is crazy. I'm at like 80 million, and I have a pretty hardcore team because I played so much. But if that wasn't there, we would be in a big trouble, I think, because the content was so good. I almost spent money. Hand up. It was the first time where I was like, and the only reason I didn't is because I'm no money spent, and I've invested in that, and I've got a YouTube series for that, and I enjoy thoroughly playing no money spent. But the content was so good that I almost spent money. So I don't judge anyone for hopping on yesterday, being excited, and spending some if you've got if you've got the funds, the excess funds to enjoy it because it's your hobby. I don't blame you at all. Yesterday was crazy. But the salary cap is really holding things together. And a lot of people, I saw some comments like it's really annoying that you can't, you can't use all of your cards that you pulled. Totally understand that. And I think that salary cap, the salary cap mode wide is not the way to do it. I think it should have just been in Hut Champs. But that being said, God, you really got to make some lineup decisions. And the thing is, for people that don't just spend a ton of money, because if you spent a ton of money, let's say you spent $500, okay? You're at the mercy of what you pulled. And you might have pulled a ton of cards, and you're just throwing them in your lineup, and you can't get them all in your lineup, okay? No money spent players, you can see your grind and your climb up to the salary cap. So while you're going, you have it in your mind, okay, either I need to go with this card to get a salary cap bonus, or I don't go with this player because he's cheaper. Someone mentioned John Beliveau. Great card. I pulled him early on. He's an 85 overall. At 85 overall, I'd probably get rid of him because there's cards that are more valuable at 85 overall, right? Like there's better 85 overall cards that have the same salary cap hit. So it makes it very interesting from a team building perspective. I still anticipate that too much of the player base is going to hit the cap and it's going to be annoying. I think that's what's going to happen. It further hammers home to really try to not burn your tradable collection to make untradeable cards, by the way, guys, because if you spend all of your tradable resources on event items, okay? On event items, those are untradeable cards. When you hit the cap, that's when you're going to be kind of screwed. It sucks because you have to sell your cards, and then you don't have as good of a team because you could have used those cards instead of having coins to go out and make more MSPs. But good Lord, like if you get stuck with a lot of MSPs untradeable and you're at the cap in like a month or even like a couple weeks, you're going to regret it, I think. So a lot to touch on there. Okay, there's more, but let's get into the comments from yesterday's video. So Slosh with the most liked comment, 25 likes on this with a video of like 100, like crazy amount. Love that you guys are reading the comments. Slash says there should be 32 line combinations for each NHL team, just like the Ducks, but for every team. It gives more of an opportunity for people to use their favorite players. When I saw a salary cap, I said this word for word. And I think at some point, hopefully they will include that. But if we all assume when the chemistry system was coming that you could build a full team of Sharks and get a big bonus and it would allow you to use a theme team. Wasn't the case. When I saw the line combos, I was like, okay, at least you can use a line. Wasn't the case. That needs to be a thing. 100%. Every season, there should be static line combos that stay every season. This is one of them. 32 for every team so that people can use a line of their favorite team and get a boost. John says, as a casual offline player in my 40s with a job and family, I both love and hate Cupchase. Pros, there's an end goal, winning the cup that I can take at my own pace. If I have a busy week, I don't feel I have to grind out 30 wins to get rewards. All wins, no matter what difficulty, give the same amount of XP, just over 1,000, so I never feel like I have to play a 4-minute superstar game to get max XP when I'm worn out at the end of the night and just want to play an easy game. I also generally find the games more fun having that goal and season to move up. I love that all games are 2-minute periods with the same rewards, no longer feeling the need to play longer games, meaning when I get my 1 or 2 hours to play, I can play more than the 3 to 4 games and still get similar rewards. Cons. If I start on Superstar Run, but I get on at 11 p.m. and I just want to play an easy game and not grind hard, I have to either get my shit together when I'm worn out already or reset the cup path. That's an interesting thing. That is interesting. I wish they had individual squad battles or exhibition type games that didn't count towards the cup chase, but still let you get some objectives, coins, and XP. I fully admit I'm generally mediocre at the game. I don't understand how people can play Superstar and act like it's easy. Maybe I'm too old and I can't keep up or react fast enough. I can do Superstar, but instead of sitting and relaxing, I have to really focus, which to me defeats the purpose of playing video games to rewind and relax. I'm sure my take and opinion isn't popular or a common one, especially among the online players that call Superstar easy, but I can't be the only one that loves HUT, but isn't interested in the hard challenge. Keep up the amazing work, slaves. I hope you and your family aren't missing you too much on your subathon. Big fan, John. You would be blown away, brother, at how many people that are in the exact same spot as you, but they don't reach out on Reddit or YouTube comments and things like that. This is a majority of the player base. So I'm with you on all this. You make all the correct points. That is true that if you start on Superstar, you can't really do much. The thing that I would recommend, if you really want an easy time and you just want to work towards something, go and look at objectives that say any mode. And then when it says any mode, like for example, it'll be like get goals in any mode. Go and do a moment on rookie. That's what I would do because moments count towards it. That is what I would do. Or if you haven't done the XP path or the path on wild card, go do wild card when you're feeling like that. But for sure, I feel you on the offline players not being able to. I still think I would take the cons. Even your situation, I would take the pros over the cons here because I think that offline players are eating the best that they ever have, in my opinion. So, but man, I love that we got a fellow older guy with a family. When I can understand I don't play games after I'm streaming, guys. You'd be stunned at how few NHL games I actually play because I spend all my time working on like content editing and streaming and stuff. When I'm done, I don't play video games. So when you get that extra hour or two at the end of the night, kiddo's asleep, you're just looking to play. You don't want to always have to grind really hard. So, congrats on the Sharks on the XP path. I'm so happy for you. Not jealous at all. I mean, Macklin clearly was helpful at the launch of the game because not helpful, but they hired him to do the Be a Pro stuff. So that's probably why he is going to be the cover athlete. I think that if I had to put money on it, I love it because Macklin is going to be a superstar. He is definitely if he has a point per game season, I would be blown away if he is not the cover athlete next year. But that being said, we're not going to get any live cards, I don't think, like Sharks fans. And Will Smith and Macklin's card are not like the best. Like if I'm an Oilers fan, I'd rather have McDavid, not close. You know what I mean? But we did pretty well early on. When making my HUT lineup, should I focus on best overall or trying to go for line combinations? This is a big one. Line combinations should be either an end goal because you're meticulously grinding your team or a tiebreaker. I think early on you really need to focus. I think people are forgetting that a good card is a good card. Take the Fresh Ice Nick Ehlers, for example. He doesn't really fit anywhere. Great card. Great card, and he's crashing in price because he doesn't fit line combos. People are so locked in to getting the +1 overall boost or the +2 is important, or the AP boost, right? AP boosts are important, but it should not be because you're gonna waste like in 70 days, guys. You're gonna be like, I just blew 500,000 coins making my team, and now they're worth 80. But that being said, for 70 days, you've got a lock solid squad, and then you can rebuild it again. But yeah, I would go with, like I said, it should be your tiebreaker. Or if you're working towards a card you're gonna build, so like an MSP, something like that, have the focus in mind that you're working towards something there. A perfect example would be Quinn Hughes, the rookie. I didn't even talk about the rookie. If you got the XP, if you got the Calder pack from playing NHL 25, like I did, I chose Macklin, but they have a set where you trade in Macklin, Lane Hudson, or Wolf, any of those players, and you get a major discount on a rookie. I would, because Macklin is the end of the XP path, I would 100% do that. Lane Hudson is not better than Quinn Hughes or Sidney Crosby. Binnington, I probably wouldn't do unless you're a big fan. But I would 100% trade that in if you are someone that played NHL 25 and got those objectives is done. So that's something that I would recommend. So Batman says, did that answer your question? Yes. Sleeves, do you think they have captain reroll set or something like that for the 82 captains specifically? No. And I got a lot of questions. Should you trade in the 82 overall captains for an 85? Yes. I think captains, you always get a choice back at the beginning of a season, so you're going to get a free choice of new captains. Miro Heiskanen, I would trade in the two whatever captain I got to work towards him. I 100% would. I wish they let us use multiple captains and just toggle the boost to the one you want to use. I agree, because Mackenzie Weegar is a great defenseman card. Like, he's just a very good card, and I couldn't use him because I was going to work towards Heiskanen. So, I'm with you on that. Coffee, cheers, my new morning ritual. We as people love the routine. Thanks, Sleeves. Yeah, coffee and Chel is usually Monday to Friday, but as long as my subathon's going and all this content's out, I'm going to just do it every day. I don't know if this is a controversial opinion, but people who pay for the premium edition should have an advantage early on. I do agree. And this year, more than ever, if you ordered there has been like 4 years in a row where the pre-order bonuses, I get the game for free. I get it early, so I don't have to shell out the money for it. But I remember looking at the pre-order bonuses and being like, this isn't worth it. Like as a player, if you're a hardcore player, sure, but it literally wasn't worth it. Like the cards you got, because you could just get them very easily, no money spent. This year, for anyone that just got the game yesterday at Worldwide Launch, you're gonna go up against a lot of players that have Chara, Solani, and Faber. Those three cards. And maybe instead of Chara, you've got Roenick, or you've got Fedorov instead of Solani. Those three cards give you such an advantage over a completely standard edition, no money spent player. There has never been that level of, I want to say, worth, like, from the pre-order bonus. Like, this year was 100% worth. If you play Hut for more than 200 hours in the year, 100% it was the most worth pre-order bonus edition that we've ever had. And I do agree that you should get it if you're deciding to shell out the money for it. I do like that you can eventually, as a no money spent player, build up to it. But there was a lot, because even the Chel Week MSP, like, I completely forgot about that. Wilson, I made Wilson, by the way. I guessed that he would be the one, and like, we got him too. You could have got Kadri or Slavin or whoever. So there's a big advantage of early access and stuff. I wouldn't say almost too much, but you should get an advantage for paying early, or like for paying for that for those players. So I'm also on the BND issue. This year, getting BNDs is not as bad because of the line combos. Who knows what line combos Bennett might work for in future seasons? Having a deep collection this year will be valuable. 100%. I saw a lot of hate about BND, and BND was awful last year because of them not using it correctly. This year, guys, it is going to be a hard course correction for us to how we play Hut. Holding on to cards has never been more worth it, because of when the new line combos come out, you have no idea. That Bennett BND is a perfect example. Bennett might not even make your team, and he does get a +1 overall, and he fits into the +3 AP boost. But, like, 100%, if it's like a Florida Panther that gets a +2 at the start of the next season, he becomes one of the most valuable cards. And you got him for free, and he's just sitting in your collection, right? So, yeah, I completely agree there. So, that was a long episode of Coffee and Chel. There was so much more to get to, but again, if you want to come hang out in the subathon, I'm streaming all day live again on Twitch today, all the way until, well, at this point, like Wednesday. So come chill if you've got some time. You're gonna play some NHL. Throw me up on the second monitor. Come hang out with the community. And yeah, good day yesterday. I'll see you guys tomorrow morning.